I was hoping to watch something funny and lighthearted, after that whole stream thing. Although I wasn't expecting much, because of Chris Duckman's review. But I didn't expect it to be this bad. Or I don't know. I guess I did. Either way, Tom and Jerry's trash, especially compared to Paddington 1 and 2, and Shaun the Sheep, the first one. Fun fact: I think the sequel is gonna be it's like the Oscar. Because I was looking at Netflix, there's a whole Oscar nominee section, and the sequel, Farmageddon or something like that, was on there, so that's kind of intriguing. But yeah, I'll talk about the few good things, which is really just one general thing. The antics in the film are enjoyable. That's it. They lead to a few funny side gags, but that's literally it. Everything else is just annoying. The film is just cheap, unfunny, and annoying. Despite me watching What Men Want, which isn't really funny, but me laughing quite a few times at it. So, I did laugh a few times, but mostly because of how stupid it was and how this actually got accepted. There's the thing with the fish that I laughed at because just how how it didn't make any sense and how dumb it was. I mentioned it pretty soon, but either way, Chloe's character, Kayla's a bitch. Scaring someone out of a job that they'd be good at, they're much better suited than her, and trying to use their resume as their own, not likable in the slightest. I guess she's gonna become better. Like some reviewers said, maybe Chris Tuckman, but she's just so annoying, and I don't like her. She's not a terrible human being, but she's a bitch, and she's really annoying. Dear God, just shut up. And I was actually rooting for a lot of the characters just to fucking die. There's this whole part where the wedding just goes crazy, and I was like, okay, come on, just have the tiger get loose and then kill a bunch of them. Turn into a slash movie at that. I'd actually praise this movie that happened because I hated some of these characters. Mainly her character, she was a bitch, a lying bitch that stole someone's resume. I just hated these characters. Not just because of how unlikable they were, just because of how boring they were and how I didn't care. And how Ben, the dude who's gonna get married to Prita or whatever, was so brain dead with this whole elephant thing, bringing elephants into a freaking wedding in a hotel. This dude is not stupid. He's brain dead, clinically retarded. Holy wow, he was dumb. But yeah, I was actually kind of hoping that it turned into a freaking slash movie and that the tiger and stuff, maybe even Tom and Jerry, would just kill those characters. I'm just oh God, they're annoying. I mean, I know that's so random, but I don't know. I would have actually paid to watch this movie. Because, yeah, I illegally watched it. Oh my God, Tom and Jerry 2021. I pirated it. Oh my God, I'm so bad. Fuck off. The movie's shit. And it's literally only made just to get money. And if I don't give them money, then I'm actually succeeding in what I want to do. I don't want to give this piece of shit movie money. I usually do that for films. Sometimes they try to be good, and then I buy them. I'm in the process of trying to buy some movies that are actually pretty good, Cloverfield. I'm going to actually get that because it's an actually good movie. But this, no, I'm not giving my money to, and thankfully so. Fuck this movie, it's ass. Michael Pena's here, and never once is funny, and neither is the fish that I brought that has a thought bubble, and he's doing this, Mamma Mia, and has a shit emoji in the thought bubble for some reason, what? Was that supposed to be funny? Because it's not. Oh my God, okay, another thing is, the jokes are just horribly unfunny. Apparently, someone Michael Pena's age doesn't know what Instagram and TikTok is or what they're actually called. He calls them Insta book thing and TikTok. Oh my God. I wanted to turn off the film because of how cringe that was. It was incredibly cringy, and I just wanted to turn off the film and jump out a window. No joke. That shit, it was so unfunny. And I don't even think that's the worst joke. You know what's the only funny joke? The fact that someone watched this shit and actually allowed it and didn't fucking euthanize the writer. Because I don't even think the writer is stupid, despite this movie being stupid. Because I don't think, it's not hard to write a good script that makes sense. It really is not. Especially with such a kind of simplistic plot. I'll get into that later because it just becomes so needlessly kind of contrived or just unnecessarily prolonged and shit. But it's not hard, and I'm being serious. I wrote a script that isn't great. I forgot a character's death among some other things. Maybe it's kind of bad, but it was a script first draft, not even finished, with no plan, and written by a teenager. And it's somehow miles better than this shit. It's just not hard. So you've got to be intentionally right. Stupid shit, which just makes you scummy, because I really don't think anyone could be this retarded. Then again, someone actually wrote The Predator. I don't know if they were intentionally trying to piss off fans, but I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Predator. But shit, man, you pissed me off just because of how stupid it was. But yeah, the jokes are just horribly unfunny. That one's probably like one of the worst. It's one of the worst, not the worst one, but still, it's annoying. It's just never funny. There's like shit jokes. This dog that Ben and Prita own, like Michael Pena's character has to take on a walk, and it just shits randomly, like, you know, in front of some cars. Like, okay, funny, I guess. Where's the funny? Oh, shit joke, and kids are stupid. Kids would probably write a better script. I'm being serious. Like, I'm genuinely being serious. Kids, probably half my age, could maybe write a better script, or even if not, they're kids. So, not really a high bar. There's weird rules about what animals can and can't talk. Like, some cats and dogs can, but Tom and Jerry and some others can't. Like, I get, you know, Tom and Jerry, they don't talk, although, I mean, that's fine, I guess. It's just weird. Some can't. Like, Ben and Prita own a dog and a cat. The dog can talk, but the cat can't. Even though I think Tom is a cat, and there's some other alleyway cats that talk. What? So, what animals can and can't talk? It's not even like, oh, specific ones like cats and stuff. That would actually require logic and, like, they remember. Like, some cats can talk, some can't. Tom and Jerry, okay, you know what, they don't talk, that's fine. But some other cats can talk, but then one can't. It doesn't. What the fuck? Can someone please explain how this, like, am I going crazy, or does that just not make any sense? My god, we're barely into my script. There's, also, Kayla is not fazed by a mouse leaving money on a mousetrap and writing human words. Like, when they try to catch Jerry with, like, this mousetrap, he notices, and when they go check on it, there's money there. And there's a post-it note saying, try harder next time or something like that. And they're just not fazed, I don't think. Like, by the fact, they're fazed by, like, oh, okay, that's weird. But they're not even like, wait a minute, so this thing can write human words. Last time I checked, I don't remember mouses being able to write human words. And, like, writing on post-it notes. Oh my god. The music choice is also shitty, trendy, hip-hop fluff. I don't remember any of this type of music in Tom and Jerry cartoons. I've only seen a few, but more than enough to know that this type of shit either didn't exist or wasn't as prevalent then, or, you know, just wasn't used because it's not the type of music that would fit in a Tom and Jerry movie. It's like Eminem doing a song, like, you know, an uncensored song, unlike, you know, that censored version of Stan. In a, you know, like a freaking Bob the Builder movie. It's just like, what? It's like, are you tone deaf or something? Like, comparatively, it's Tom and Jerry. It's like, you got Tom in, like, this hat and, like, this tag walking, and Kayla walking, and they put, like, hip-hop on it. What? Are you trying? It's like the writers had an aneurysm, or I mean, probably had writers, because a lot of shit movies have multiple writers. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll be bad. I think Spider-Man and Spider-Verse had a few, Spider-Man and Spider-Verse, I'll see how many writers that had. Spider-Verse, writer. Okay, well, 2 writers, so, you know what I mean, that's usually the regular amount, 1 to 2. The point is, yeah, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be bad, but I'm pretty sure this movie had multiple writers. Let me actually check on. Wow, what do you know? It has 3 writers. Wow. Kevin Costello, who's made 1 film other than this. April Posner, who made no other film. And Eric Gravning, who also didn't make film. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be bad. Everyone starts off with no films being made. But, okay, for a big budget movie like this, I mean, I know that, like, Jurassic World had, like, a kind of first time. Well, either way, whatever. It's just the shitty hip-hop stuff doesn't make sense. there's a point nearly 40 minutes in where they could have solved the problem easily of getting the mouse out, Jerry. And easily could have just grabbed him, or her, I guess him, and left him outside. But of course, it's not feature length yet, so some antics have to ensue and lead to Cherry still being in the hotel. The fact that this problem can be more easily solved than the one in Lake Placid is sad. And if you don't know why I'm randomly mentioning, or I guess not really randomly because that plot could have easily been solved, but basically, what I'm saying, if you don't know, Lake Placid had an easy to solve problem. It was a private lake with barely anyone there, so they could just close it off. What made this one a bit easier is, I guess, is like a cat. It's just like a little mouse that you could have easily grabbed in the moment, like right there. It's not a huge crocodile, I guess. It's easier. It's just the fact that this can be so easily solved, and they got the chance less than halfway, with an hour still left, even 50 minutes, whatever, excluding credits. I don't care. I don't care. That still reeks of bad writing. Now, if she actually attempted to grab him, then okay, but she didn't really do that. She just kind of stood there like an idiot. Just like the writers. They're fucking idiots. I feel a little bit bad for Michael Pena's character, Terrence, because, I mean, a little bit, just briefly, in the film, because he's trying to do his job. Granted, he's a bit of an asshole and rude, and he kind of becomes a villain, I guess. But he's still trying to do his job, and the boss, I believe, is just being, like, really stupid, and I almost feel bad for him. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that problem. I kind of feel a little bit bad for him. I also feel bad for the actor. I just feel bad for everyone involved, kind of, or mostly, especially the animators and the people editing this. They had to stitch this piece of shit movie together, which basically, I don't even think it's a movie. It's basically, it feels loosely connected. It's like a bunch of big budget vignettes. It's first about like Tom trying to get rid of Jerry and have like a home. Then he's recruited to get him out of the hotel, and that's about planning a huge wedding. Then it's about Tom and Jerry trying to become friends. It's just like, it doesn't feel like a real plot. It feels like intended for the plot just be about Tom and Jerry having antics. Then realize they didn't have the money or ability to write that, or even though Paddington, well, no, I don't know. I guess just the money or ability to write a 90-minute film for that. Then added a human subplot to like pad it out and create a loose reason for the antics and a so-called plot. Then realized they finished that plot up with at least 30 to 40 minutes left to be a feature-length movie. Not necessarily 30, 40 minutes left in the movie, more like 50 or so. Instead of rewriting it, they just keep going and come up with a new plot. You can, like Chris Duckman said, you can see them stretching out to feature length, and it's 100 minutes instead of like 80 minutes. You could just rewritten it, made it a little over 80 minutes long, and that's it. Would have been perfectly fine 80-minute kids film with hopefully, if you rewrote it, likable characters, some smart, funny jokes, and a plot that makes sense. Because honestly, if they went with that first plot of like trying to get Jerry out, they could have led to some nice antics. They could have actually started it around 25 minutes, close to 30 minutes in, so that you'd have a solid solid like 30 minutes of just antics and stuff. At least 20. It's just like they could have rewritten it and kept going with that plot and made it way shorter, and maybe add a few little things to stretch it or like make it keep going. It's just, why did they need to make it an hour and like 41 minutes long? And why didn't they rewrite it? Because it just feels like they come up with a new plot every so often. Like, seriously, there is no plot that lasts more than 30 minutes. The wedding doesn't count. It's basically in the background, bar a few brief moments and scenes. It has like 15-20 minutes of relevance until like the last 15-20 minutes. Barely has any relevance for the first hour. Well, really only hour, because it's not going to be 2 hours long. But for the first 60 or so minutes, it barely has any relevance. It's kind of in the background. Like, it does have relevance, but it just feels like it's in the background, which is fine because it's about Tom and Jerry, but they also kind of feel like they're in the background sometimes. Despite what Chris Duckman says, they are in it a lot, but again, they feel like they're in the background, like they're kind of just there, but it's mainly just about the boring fucking human characters. And it's just, they could have made good human characters. Like, there's no excuse. Like, Paddington had great characters, especially human characters. It's just, I feel like they came up with a new plot every once in a while because they didn't know what to do. It's like vignettes, like an anthology, except they all kind of have consequences. Not really, but still. Another thing is apparently the hotel doesn't want a mouse, but they constantly have a mouse-sized door to enter and exit the hotel, like the spinning door. How does that make sense? I know that Kayla planned for them to have a trip at that point, but I don't understand the door thing. Oh, but they have an Instagram account and they're actually popular. So there, solves your problem. Turns out your mouse and cat is popular, so if anything, that just made most of this movie useless, as that's just free publicity having those two in there. Like, they made an exception for Ben and Preeta's animals because they're rich. You can make an exception for these two because they're popular. Maybe not rich, but popular. That's just free publicity. Like, ooh, Tom and Jerry's in this hotel. You can go and see their antics or whatever. Like, that's free publicity. Maybe not everyone wants to be in a place like that, but still, free publicity. Oh, and there's like these annoying birds that recap the film as if I didn't already know what's happening in the movie. Like, hey, movie, you're the stupid one, not me. And the typical moment where everyone finds the truth about how, like, Kayla basically stole someone else's resume. Terrence, after being fired, like, 20 minutes ago, basically, he's at the wedding that goes crazy. He's in the aftermath, and he's here, and he tries to chime in, and nobody points out how the second he came in, shit hit the fan, like, the elephant's going crazy, the cake being destroyed, anything like that. How did no one notice that? How did no one point that out? Like, there was, like, that bartender who noticed him there, even though, he was fired, and I'm pretty sure he noticed, like, the bartender knew that he was fired. And he was even like, that's weird. Why didn't you point that out? What the hell? And another thing, it turns out Terrence is also kind of the villain for a bit of the movie. In the beginning, kind of like a minor antagonist that's a bit of an obstacle, but then just becomes a straight villain, and then I guess decides to become good because of Kayla blackmailing him, and actually becomes good, not just like, ooh, at the end where he betrays her. No, he's like actually good now, I guess. It's just so abrupt and jarring. What? God. Why? That doesn't make any sense. And now Tom and Jerry still hate each other, meaning that this entire film was pointless and actually did nothing besides give some people paychecks and, money. Wow. That's why I mentioned earlier how one of the antics makes this film pretty much pointless. Now they still hate each other, meaning that this whole thing, especially the last subplot or whatever about them trying to like become friends, is pointless. This whole film is just nothing changed. They still hate each other. They're doing their crazy antics. The hotel's fine. Kayla has her job. Nothing really changed. She's just slightly less mean, I guess. That's it. Are you kidding me? Thank you for wasting my time. Oh my god. Just why? Why? That's my question. Why? Why was this movie made? Why did the writers intentionally write some of the stupid shit ever? Because I'm convinced people aren't actually this stupid. Or at least writers. Like, come on, you gotta realize that some of this shit doesn't make sense. Because literally none of it makes sense. Most of it doesn't. It's just, this movie is soulless. Just a cash grab. Unfunny for most of the time, except for a few side gags. The antics are kind of enjoyable, but I don't care about any of the characters. It's annoying, doesn't make sense, it's so jarring, the pacing's weird, it feels like they come up with a new plot every 20 to maybe 30 minutes. It's just so jarring. It's like a big budget vignette. Oh my god. How about this? Stop being so fucking retarded. Get that brain working and actually write something that's compelling and makes a bit of sense. It's not that hard. It's not hard. And that's a fact. It is not hard to make something that's not clinically brain dead and retarded. It's not hard. This is just... What? Thunder Force probably made me laugh more. Actually, I don't know, but still. Wow, this was sad. This was just, no. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Not going to be streaming for a little bit until I get my account secured and all that stuff. I'll see you in the next video, whatever that is. You can subscribe if you want. It's free. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. Subscribing and liking and showing your support. We're close to 900 subscribers, then 1K. I was about to say 900K. That'd be awesome. I mean, I'll probably eventually reach that. Well, obviously, but who knows? I don't know why I did that thing, but still, yeah. What are your thoughts on this movie? If you liked it, okay. It's just, wow. This movie was just a cash grab. But I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the comments down below. Whether or not this video was kind of boring, because sometimes it seems like I ramble on a lot. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.